Hey, folks, if you're listening to this on the podcast, this is probably an episode that you want to view on YouTube because what you're seeing on the screen is a replay of a task that I gave to an AI agent to go to a website, analyze the site, and come up with a thorough implementation plan and execution strategy for Sales IQ. Now, I'm not saying that the output I received was the end all be all, but it certainly was impressive enough that it warrants a serious conversation as to if AI agents are the future of Zoho software implementation projects. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Aegis Martech podcast, where we uncover the genuine keys to successful Zoho One implementation, specifically for local small businesses. Rather than diving deep into technical aspects, we emphasize the critical elements of strategy, planning, preparation, and essential considerations that truly determine successful Zoho implementations. Whether you're just starting out with Zoho One, an existing customer, do-it-yourself implementer handling their own setup, or working with a Zoho implementation partner, this podcast is designed with you in mind. I'm your host, Chris Chiatti. Now, imagine for a second a world where you are a Zoho user or a potential Zoho user, and you're thinking about implementing the software. And all you have to do is prompt an AI agent, and you just don't get an answer like a report, but you actually get execution and deployment of the software. And as it's being done, you're kept in the loop throughout the implementation project. Now, also imagine implementation projects that sometimes took weeks or months are now reduced to hours or days. I mean, time to value going from weeks or months now down to days, or depending on the application, even hours. Now, the problem for technical implementers is if implementation time is going to be cut down significantly and your current conversations are based on billable hours, what does the future look like when your implementation time gets cut down significantly? Before I get started today, folks, I want to let you know that I'm going to have down in today's show notes a link to the replay that I'm going to show you today of the AI agent deploying this prompt to provide me with an implementation plan, and a link to the actual website, because it actually generated a website that had the full implementation plan on there. The application I'm showcasing today is going to be Zoho Sales IQ. If you want to find, if you're unfamiliar with it, you'd like to find out more about it, I'm going to have a link down in the description or in the show notes to that as well. So this isn't some futuristic idea, and it doesn't exist in some dystopia, nightmarish, future world. It's here now, and it exists. One of the big four consulting firms, I think Price Waterhouse Cooper. It's a real funny story lately to where one of their consultants or someone in their management team, one of their executives, was bragging to Bloomberg just how much money they were saving because they've incorporated AI into their workflows. And I think they threw out a number like 30% or whatnot, and their clients got wind of that, and they were like, hey, what about us? Can you pass those savings down onto us? And I've got the article here. Okay, here we go. Big Four firm discovers that bragging about AI efficiencies leads clients to expect a discount. The story was mentioned in the Monday Morning Accounting News Brief, published every Monday before noon. Last week, Bloomberg ran a story about how PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, has cut prices for some services as clients raise the fact that the consultancy is using artificial intelligence to complete its work quicker. In other words, clients saw PwC bragging about how AI is eliminating human billable hours and wanted their cut. This according to a scoop they got directly from the source. Here's a quote. Clients will hear us talking about using AI and say, we want our fair share of those efficiencies, PwC Chief AI Officer Dan Priest said in an interview with Bloomberg News. We certainly, as appropriate, give our clients the pricing benefit of the efficiencies we're achieving. Which and how many clients and how much have they cut their fees? Your guess is as good as ours. If you are as cynical as we are and know firms as well as we do, your answers are a couple and very little. Mr. Priest didn't feel like telling Bloomberg any specifics and added, the firm's use of the technology is also improving the quality of its services. We're trying to focus more On the value creation, he said, there's a value to that intelligence. Priest declined to provide further details on PwC's pricing, saying that the firm's broad approach to align AI-driven gains with client benefits, whether that's in efficiency, timeliness, or quality or cost. So clients want a discount because AI is taking work off of human plates, and the firm is getting good at explaining how there's way more to their fees than time. So I'm going to share this with you. So this is at the very high level. Again, this is one of the big four firms. But we're also going to talk about mid-market, and then we're going to talk about, Zoho implementation partners. But as you can see here, big four firms, or the larger firms, they're bringing in AI. They're realizing efficiencies, especially in the billable hours. AI is doing a lot of the grunt work that they used to bill clients for. So they're saving a ton of money. And according to this story, their clients are like, hey, what about us? Now, at the mid-market, and there are several examples at the mid-market level, probably going to put a slide up just so as a visual aid. So what you see here, the innovation is AI tools can eliminate expensive grunt work traditionally performed by high-cost technical consultants. And some of the applications of AI, this is important. This is where we're starting to get into the meat of today's show, is things like requirements definition, automated documentation, and prioritization of business requirements. AI can gather. That's one of the things that that you have to do when you're doing an implementation project is you need to get the business requirements from the client and translate that into technical requirements to make sure that's a functional fit. And so AI for requirements gathering or requirements documentation, gathering documentation. Right now, currently, what's being done right now, it's like it can be done on several levels, and it's multimodal. What that means is if you have a Zoom call, you don't have to write it down. You don't have to write it down. You don't have to fill a form. If you just do a Zoom call, Zoom right now, you can put an AI agent in there. It can capture those notes and it can translate those notes or that speech into text and into whatever format they would need as software technical implementers to feed it to their AI model that's going to go ahead and output the implementation plan, strategy, execution, and deployment for them. So if you're on a Zoom call and someone's just, asking you questions like, okay, tell me your org chart, tell me your workflows, tell me your processes, tell me where the problems are. If you whiteboard it, I think recently there was a person from Zoho Corporate, from the Zoho creator team, who said the same thing. It's like, hey, you can jot it down on a piece of paper, notes, you can put it on a whiteboard, we feed it into the AI, and but he was talking about Zoho creator creating an app, and they can output that application for you. So getting business requirements now, that's one of the applications of AI. And again, one of the important things about it, one of the cool features is, this can be done on Zoom, a Zoom call, a whiteboard. If you whiteboard it, pen and paper, a flow chart, and of course, text. And as this is being done, of course, you're going to have human in the loops to kind of, fill in the gaps to make sure that everything is flowing properly. Another way that another application of AI when it comes to software implementation is just, as I was saying, just real-time meeting processing. AI agents, they can take notes, transcribe, and translate discussions into technical specifications. Next up, testing automation. They can streamline the testing process. Risk assessment, the automated evaluation and deliverable creation. There are lots of firms out there in the mid-market that use AI tools to gather requirements in real time, during workshops, and automatically convert meeting notes into prioritized business requirements, change impacts, and even integration needs. From a strategic standpoint, the impact of this is huge. I mean, it's a game changer for implementation project teams, or at least it should be. And it could potentially be a big threat to system integrators and those who fail to adopt. Now, when we're talking about like Zoho or Zoho technical implementers or implementation partners, some of them have begun to incorporate this. You pretty much have to. It's like obvious. Just think for a minute, something like configuring a system. All you're pretty much doing is just filling in the blanks. And however that is captured today, whether it's you're sent a form, it's conducted by interview, AI can do a lot of those tasks today that typically before, humans did and humans, build for. So that information that's captured via a form, it can still be captured via a form, but now AI can take it from end to end. And certainly an AI agent can capture that information and then configure the system on your behalf. Of course, I'm mentioning implementation partners here, but even if you're self-implementing, and again, that's part of the demo that I'm going to show you here in a second, that even though this demo is about the report, there are agents out there that can take it from giving you the strategy or the plan through execution, through deployment. So you can give it your roles, your permissions, your process, and your workflows. You can give it to it via voice. You can give it to on a note, on a whiteboard, and it will take that and give you a finished product. And just pretty much one thing, if I was an implementation partner, one thing I would be aware of is, the conversation isn't dominant right now, but it is coming to where customers are going to ask, if they are leveraging AI, to save time and money. And if they find out that they aren't, they're probably going to look for someone who is. An AI agent carries out Zoho implementation planning. So now we're just going to jump into the demo. You saw a brief replay. I'm going to play that again. The AI agent that I used was Manus AI, came out earlier this year. I don't know how, but I was fortunate enough to get early beta access. You kind of had to fill out an application, tell them a little bit about yourself. And again, it's open to everybody now, but I've been, tinkering with this, and just in the long term, I'm pretty much going to hang out with Manus AI. Another platform that's kind of similar to it, OpenAI, they have this thing called Operator, ChatGPT Operator, that's kind of similar to it. And what Manus AI is, let's get a definition here for you, is a general purpose autonomous artificial intelligence agent developed by Monica, a Chinese startup. It is designed to independently carry out complex tasks without constant human supervision, bridging the gap between human intent and execution. Manus integrates multiple AI models and specialized tools, important to analyze, plan, and execute tasks, making it a significant step in AI autonomy. That's real. And I'm not going to digress here. I don't want to get too far off subject, but it has honestly done some wonderful things for me personally, but I digress. Let's move on. Let me read you the prompt. So I'm going to try to get this up on the screen here. I told the bot, or Manus, I need to build an AI website chatbot for AtlantaFreshStart.com using preferably Zoho Sales IQ as the chatbot platform. I needed to be able to answer customer support queries and also answer sales-related queries as well. It needs to be fun and professional, but not formal. If someone is asking questions that are showing buying interest, this chatbot needs to encourage them to book on a Zoho bookings calendar link or suggest sometimes and self-book the call. Let me start that again. If someone is asking questions that are showing buying interest, this chatbot needs to encourage them to book on a Zoho bookings calendar link or suggest sometimes and self-book the call for them. We use Zoho as our CRM platform and Zoho bookings for our calendars and would want this to be integrated there as well. The website is hosted on WordPress. We want to be able to access the Sales IQ chatbot via mobile or a chatbot on AtlantaFreshStart.com and be able to communicate via email and or text via Zoho CRM. In the future, we want to be able to use Facebook Messenger through Zoho CRM as well. We'll need a comprehensive knowledge base that it can access, as well as be able to scrape the web and find information about existing services that we can compare our services to. We want to be able to update the knowledge base and for the agent to be self-learning. If someone asks a question that isn't in our FAQs, we want it to be able to update the knowledge base and or FAQs so that information is easily accessible next time someone asks a question. If there's a question that it is not able to answer for any reason, it should send an email to one of the team members. And when that team member provides the answer, it should update the knowledge base as well. And then now I'm going to show you the steps that this agent actually went through. Probably going to screenshot it and put it up. But so the first thing it did was research Zoho Sales IQ capabilities for AI chatbot implementation. 2, analyze AtlantaFreshStart.com website structure and requirements. 3, define comprehensive chatbot requirements and features. 4, design conversational flows for customer support and sales interactions. 5, develop knowledge-based structure with a self-learning capabilities. 6, create detailed implementation plan for Zoho Sales IQ chatbot. 7, document integration steps with Zoho CRM and Zoho bookings. 8, prepare final report with recommendations and next steps. 9, compile and deliver final documentation to the user. 10, create website to showcase AI chatbot implementation documentation. 11, deploy documentation website permanently. 12, provide website access to user. So as I was reading that, I should have had on the screen either a replay of the steps, the process that that Manus went through, as well as show you, click through the website and probably scroll through there so you can see what that looked like as well. Again, if you're listening to this, definitely one you want to have a look at. But if not, if you don't want to jump to YouTube, I'll have the link to the replay as well as a link to the website. And the website is hosted on Manus. So let's say, for instance, if I was an administrator inside an organization, this website would be a good presentation tool if you wanted to speak with someone in your organization about this implementation project. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons, the good and the bad. This is kind of like my personal feedback. So again, I just think this, one, I think this it's a good baseline, a good first draft for, either if you're a self-implementer, 2, if you're part of an organization, and you want to get buy-in, within your organization. This is just a good place to start, again, a good place to start, a good baseline, a good first draft. And if you plan on working with a partner and you're kind of in the dark, you don't know how any of this stuff works, it puts your feet on solid ground as a first draft. There's a lot of nuance that goes into implementation projects. And some of it it's just not going to be represented in any of these outputs. And I'm going to speak to that as well when I talk about the not so good, the cons of this right here, which is just the reality of any software implementation. But again, if you're working with the implementation partner, this at least gets you on some type of solid footing to where you can have an informed conversation. And one other final note on the pros is that with these tools, you can always add to their knowledge base. So if it's missing something in the output, you can always go back to this prompt and add more context to it and have it adjust and amend the output for you. So if you find that it is missing something, and I'm not going to go down that road today, but if you find that something's missing or didn't account for something, some nuance, let's say resourcing, some of the things I'm going to mention in the not so good in the con section, you can always go back to this prompt or go back to these models, to this model I know of, Manus, and you can add more context to it and have it adjust and update on your behalf. Now, let's talk about the not so good. And what I'm going to pull up here on the screen, as I mentioned, this Manus created a checklist, like a to-do checklist. And I noticed it didn't check off everything. So what you see on the screen here is AtlantaFreshStart.com, AI chatbot implementation plan. You saw the research phase, everything is checked. But once you get down to the design phase, some of these aren't checked off. Don't know why. I'm not going to bore you with the details because, again, I'm not saying this is a be-all, end-all. If there's something you want to play with, definitely, and you have time, definitely get in there into one of these models. There's several out there. There's this one. There's Operator by Chat, GPT. I just personally prefer Manus. Design self-learning mechanisms. Did not do that. It didn't do design notification systems for unanswered question. It didn't do that because I think that has to do, remember I said, if it couldn't answer a question, reach out to a team member. That's not in here. So maybe it missed something, but it can always be, updated and amended. As I said, the implementation plan, couple things are missing here. Document WordPress integration process, plan mobile access implementation, plan email text communication via Zoho CRM. But as I said, if it had more context, or if you were to provide it, this is what I meant to say earlier. If you give it like documentation, like if you have an implementation plan, or if you have documentation to tell it how, to, let's say, plan this email text communication via an integration with Zoho CRM, and you add it to the knowledge base, it will go ahead and update for you and incorporate that into this implementation plan. Next thing it didn't do, plan future Facebook Messenger integration. Again, all it needs is probably just a how to integrate, Facebook Messenger with Zoho CRM, with the website, with Sales IQ. So let's see, another one, documentation. It did not create knowledge-based setup guide, and it did not create maintenance and updating procedures. So you can always query, the model and say, hey, why didn't you do this? What's up with that? You forget? Oh, and it'll tell you, and then you can ask it, and it will tell you why. Of course, you can say, well, what do you need? Again, this is not a live thing that I'm doing, to implement Sales IQ on this website, because it's already there. But you can always ask the model, hey, why didn't you do this? Do you need more information? Do you need better context? Do you need more documentation? Do you need more knowledge? Yes, I do. Cool. You go out and get it. You feed it to it. And that's a whole human in the loop aspect of this. Where to next? So blind spots. These models, they have no idea about the culture in your organization, what the culture's like. It has no idea of the culture that has to be taken into account when it comes to software implementation projects. It has no idea of the politics, if there are kind of some wonky politics going on there internally. And it doesn't know the technical readiness of your organization. I mean, are your people, are they savvy? Are they stable? Are they unstable? It has no idea. So it's going to give you an output, say, hey, do this, and this. But it has no idea that this is a big lift for this organization. But let's say if you were implementing another application that require, a lot of hands-on with your user base, you definitely want to know, it's like, how ready are my people? Because you don't want to move faster than your people are ready to take on or to start using the software. So these models, they don't have that context. Also, resourcing, staffing. These models don't know how well you can staff an implementation project. Again, if you are an organization, your people have day jobs. They're doing things, they're working in the business. But at the same time, if you're implementing software, you're going to need your process owners, real users. You're going to need those folks to be part of the implementation project too as well. So you may get a timeline that's outputted by these models that says you can do this in X amount of time. And that is actually on here when you look to the implementation plan and timeline. It's on there, but the model has no way of knowing how ready, again, you are from a technical aspect and how ready you are from a staff resourcing aspect. That's something only internally. And again, that's why we mention that and we draw that out as part of the phase 1 in our implementation framework, which you can download using the QR code on the screen or the link in the show notes. Is you definitely want to consider and think about the resourcing, any implementation project, to make sure that it's completed on time and to make sure that your people aren't overwhelmed, and definitely from an adoption standpoint too as well. So that completes the pros and the cons. Now, where's the value? So where's the value going to come from? If you're an implementation partner, right? Or if you're a technical implementer, where's the value going to come from in implementation projects if AI is doing a lot of the heavy lifting grunt work and the consumer, the user, knows it? Not going to get into strategy right now, but I do want to tease a follow-up video. There is going to be a follow-up video to this. It's going to go by a different name, but it's going to say Zoho Consultants, something. What is the name of it? Give me a second. Yeah, it's going to say how Zoho implementation partners can AI-proof their irreplaceable value in the AI era. So that's the working title for right now. On the screen, I'm going to show what the thumbnail is going to look like. So if you see this, that's going to be kind of like a part 2. That's going to speak more directly to implementation partners. But in this one, I'm kind of speaking to everybody. Self-implementers, folks inside organizations, implementation partners, come one, come all. So where's the value? Where's the value going to come from? I mean, this is just where the world is headed. So you can choose to, again, if you're a technical implementer, you can choose to ignore it and hope it doesn't happen to you. Or you can just embrace it, and run with it and be just upfront about it. You may find that if you're a technical implementer, you may find yourself getting prompted, pun intended, by by potential clients that are going to ask you, are you leveraging AI to save time and money? And how does that help me? If you aren't, they're probably going to look to seek to find one who is, because the cat's out the bag, man. I mean, let's just be real. The cat is out the bag. So what's a solution? I mean, what can you do? Of course, as I was saying earlier, you want to focus your time, and your efforts, if you're a technical implementer, on higher, more value activities, such as deepening the relationship and deepening the involvement with the organizations, with the individuals, and with the customers, the clients that you serve. Again, my advice is just to get in front of it, embrace it, and focus on those higher value activities. Just become a full service solution and not just a technical implementer. And this is going to require like deeper intimacy with the client, just getting more involved with their organization, as opposed to just, hey, give me some requirements and I'll deploy that for you. Because that ship is sailing, man. Because all that stuff now can be automated. I just showed you just saw a demo with something that I did, but this thing is being done from soup to nuts already. And it's just a matter of time before it comes here to Planet Zoho. This video was more about just raising the question. I think this is a conversation that has to happen. I think this is a conversation that we need to have. And I'm just getting in front of it because it's here. The cat's out the bag. Let's talk about it and prep for it. So I mentioned the next video, and the next video that I'm going to do on this matter, it's going to go a little bit deeper again, how Zoho implementation partners can AI prove their irreplaceable value in the AI era. I don't like that title. Too tough. I'm going to have to tweak that a little bit. So you see the thumbnail on there. Yeah. Again, just wanted to just start the conversation on this one. This is very interesting. This is real. Let me know what you think. If you're an end user, if you're an implementation partner, give me your feedback. If you're someone at Zoho, give me your feedback. Put it down in the show notes. I'll be sure to reply to that. And like I said, was there anything else I was missing? You're going to have a link to the replay, a link to the website that Amanda's generated an output for. Sales IQ, it's a wonderful tool. I use it. I mean, it's a boss. BOSS. It's a boss. Check out Sales IQ. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. And of course, if you are interested in Zoho One, I will have a link down in the show notes to that too as well. I think that will do it for today's show. I will see you on the next one. Thanks. Take care.